Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and today we are back with another exciting tutorial on Kubernetes, and we had a lot of tutorial on giving you the complete end-to-end basics on Kubernetes, where you have all the knowledge, where you can learn the pods, the deployment services, replica sets, and all those things are covered in my previous tutorial, but this is more about an hands-on practice where we will be doing a lot of basics, and so also this will be a preparation for Kubernetes certification, because in generally the certification you will be given a instance or nodes cluster where you will be asked to do some kind of practice where the scenario will be given and you will be asked to answer or prepare those kind of things, right? So in order to do this, we'll be going through a set of scenarios like creating pods or giving you a question and you need to go and run some commands and find out the answers for it. So I have created a set of questions where it will be like scenarios where you will be asked why the replica set exists or why there is a pod in this state, what is the current state of the image. So different kind of questions, and I also prepare, the answers for it where you will have the how to get those output from it, like how for the specific questions how to get that answer out of it. So in order to do this, you need to have a Kubernetes system. So you can have your own Kubernetes cloud, the overall instance, or you can have a Minikube. In my case, I'm running a Minikube. So you should have the system to play around or to do this practice, because we are going to do a hands-on, right? In order to do a hands-on, I will be giving you a scenario, so you will have to do that in your system, so to find out what the answer. For example, let's get started on this. So if I, for example, the first thing which I'm asking is if you have a Kubernetes system, how you know like how many pod exist on that system. So in order to do that, you have your system, so you want to find out how many pods. So what you will do, you have to run the command like kubectl get pods, right? So if you run kubectl get pods, currently, I don't have any pods in the default namespace. Okay, so the question is for a default namespace. If you are asked to have a specific namespace, you have to look into that. So this is a simple question, like you will be asked to answer, like, can you tell how many pods running on the current system on your default namespace? You just run kubectl get pods, right, and count the number of pods. So currently I don't have anything. Now I'm asking you, like, now you don't have any pods running. In your case, I'm asking you to create a new pod with nginx image. So how do you create this? So if you have gone through my previous tutorials on Kubernetes or and all those things, you should know it. But if you don't know it, don't worry. That is why we are doing the hands-on. So now if you have a Kubernetes system, how to create the nginx image. So there are different ways, but we are going to use a simple way. You just run the command like kubectl run. Nginx is the name of the pod and use the image as nginx. So what I will do is I will go and run kubectl run nginx. The image should be hyphen hyphen image equal to nginx. So you should use the parameter like image equal to nginx. Now in your case, if you want to use a different image, you can use just change the image name, and if you have some tag, you can use the latest or the image versions. And if you want to give a different name for your pod, you use change the name for nginx. Now if you see, like, I just run this command and you can see it has created the nginx pod, right? So this is the simple command, and to create a new pod, right? So if I run kubectl get pods, you should say the nginx image is running, right? So it's pretty simple. So if you're not sure about how to do this, just go back to my video and just have a look how to run this. And I will be sharing this Excalibur link and also as a PDF, or however way I can share this complete document where you'll be having the questions and also how to run these commands, right? How to achieve this. So we are in the state creating a new pod, right? Now how many pods are created now? So we already run the command like kubectl get pod, so you can see one pod is running, right? So already running. So now what I'm going to do is I have a file just for this tutorial. I will run that on the background so you will know some changes in the pod. So I created some new pods. Okay, so now if I go and run kubectl get pods, you can see there is another new pod called new image, right? And this was the one we created. So now there are two pods, and the question is like, what is the image used to create the new pods, right? So how do you know? Like, I want to know what is the image. In the Nginx case, we know that we used Nginx for the new web apps. How do you know like which image I have used to create the new pod? So to achieve that, what you need to do is you need to run the command kubectl describe pod, and you use the new web app. So I'm going to use kubectl describe pod, and it's a new web app. Now I have described it. So the kubectl describe is a very important command, and you can use it with pod, replica set, deployment, and all those things. So now here we are using it for pod, and you can see where we need to look. We need to look under the container section. So if I go back to go down, and we have the containers. So you can see I have a image called nginx. So is that the only one I'm using? There is also an image called Redis X, right? So there are two images we are using. One is the nginx and the other one is the Redis X. So to answer this question, what is the image used to create new pods? There is one for one nginx and other one is Redis X. Okay. So there are two images. So if you have a checkbox to answer how many numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, you have to select two because there are two images. So it's not just one. And if they ask what are the images, you have to answer like nginx and Redis X. Okay, in our case. And the next thing which I want to ask you is like now we know like there is two pods running, and which nodes are these pods placed? So if we go back, we know that there are two pods running. One is for the new web app, another one is nginx, right? So how do you know like in which node? Because you will have like a control plane, master node, and you will have different worker nodes, right? In my case, it's a Minikube, so you have only one node, but in the practical or production scenario, you will have multiple nodes. So you want to know in which node this pod is running. So how you can achieve that? So here, as I mentioned, there are two ways to achieve. There is one way which as like we are describing the pod and look at the node field, or you can use the command like get pods and you use the option wide, so you will get the nodes recent. So let's see the simple one because we already have the kubectl describe command here. So you already have the describe. Now in the describe, if you go back to the different parameters, you will have something to do for node. Yeah, you can see there is a node parameter, right? And it says Minikube. So in my case it's a Minikube, but in your case it can say that it's a control plane or worker node. So if you describe, you get that. And the other way is you use kubectl get pods, tl get pods hyphen o wide. Okay. So here, if you see, there is a new column called node. So where you can see, the node is Minikube, so both is running on the same one. But in a production scenario, you will have different worker nodes, and you will have, whether it's a master or different kind of all this information, you can get it here. So this is the easiest one. Yeah, I would say you use kubectl get pod hyphen o wide, and you will be able to easily get the information on which node are these pods running. And these are really useful information when you are working on production, because you will have to troubleshoot a lot of issues where you have to find, okay, this pod is running on which node, which image is used for this pod, and how many containers are running. So we are trying to do all these practicals. Okay, so you see that we are going a step-by-step process, right? So we see like how many pods exist, then we try to create a new pod, and we are trying to see what is the image used in the pod, and now we are seeing like how many nodes are in which node these pods are placed, right? Now another question I want to ask you is like how many containers are part of the pod, the new web app? Probably you already know it because we already used the command like kubectl describe pod new web app, right? And we saw like there are two images in GNX and Redux. So when you looked into this image, I'm sure you would have looked like it's part of two containers, right? So container one for nginx, another container for Redis X, right? So to answer this question, like how many containers are part of the new web apps, same thing. You use the describe pod command and look under the container section. So there are two containers running in this pod. So in general, sometimes you will have only one container in one pod, but here if you see, I'm running two containers, right? So container one, which is for nginx, and container two for Redis X, okay? So to answer this question, like how many containers are part of the pod new web app, have a look on the description of the describe using the describe for the pod, and you will see how many pod. But in your case, if you have a YAML configuration, like in general, we apply the pod file using a config file, which I will show you a little bit later. And if you have this pod.conf, config YAML file to create this pod, you will be able to see the metadata and the specification for your containers there as well. Okay. Now, what are the image used in the web app pod? Yeah, we already seen that question, right? So describe the pod new app. You already see. You have the nginx and the Redux, right? The images used nginx and Redux. So it's a duplicate question. And what is the state of the container Redis in the pod new app? So now, if I go to the state, I want to see what's happening in the pod, right? So for example, let me clear out the screen. Now, if you look at the pod running, you can see the new web app. There is error, right? So the status is image pulled back off, right? So the question which we are trying to ask is what is the state of the container Redis X in the new pod app, right? So for this one, you again have to kubectl describe pod new web app. So you need to go and have a look on the status, right? You can see the status image pullback, right? And why this one is, we will talk about it a little bit later. So the current state of, the answer is what is the state of the container Redis in the pod new web app? You again go to the describe and look at the state of the container, right? So it's not running because the state is not running. The nginx, if you see, the nginx state is running, but here the state is waiting, and the reason is image pull back off, right? So the state is waiting, not running state. So the container inside this pod is not running for the Redis X, it's only running for the nginx, right? So this is also a kind of scenario where you will have to kind of analyze why some containers are running inside a pod. You will have to go and find out what is the state and what is the error message, right? Now, why do you think this container Redis X is in an error, right? So you have this error, which is called image pull back off. So what you can do is you can go to find the events because you will have the events. Now you will see like the normal event, the image in nginx pull. You can see successfully pull the image, and it has created the container. And whereas you can see the image pull back off for the Redis X, right? And failed to pull the image, and the error code is pull access denied for repository does not exist or may require Docker login. So what it says is like you may have to have a failure because of you don't have the login access to the Docker hub or the Docker registry. It can be anywhere, or the repository or the Redis X image itself does not exist. So in our case, the Redis X the image is not available because I just used a false image just to show you that there is an error. So it's a way I wanted to show you because I know this image does not exist. So if you go and look into the Docker Hub, you will not see this image name like Redis X. So that's why the image pullback. So if you see an error like image pullback with the message of access denied or repository does not exist, just have a look whether the image exists. And if you don't exist, then you'll have to change the image. Okay, so that's the message it says. So you have to find out, and the reason in our case is the image is not available in the Docker registry. So I hope you got the point, like how you can find out when there is an error in the container, right? So you always face this kind of problem, like the pods not running completely, and you have some failures. So when you run this Kubernetes get pods, and you have a column called ready, right, in the output, like if I go and run this command kubectl get pods, so you have a state called column called ready, and you have 1/2 and 1/1. What does that actually mean? So if you guys have gone through the tutorials and what we were talking about in the new web app, you'd have two containers, and here it shows like one container out of two is running. So in this pod, you're supposed to have two containers. That is, this should be the number of available container, and this is one number of running containers. So whereas in Nginx you have only one container and it's running. One container out of one is running. Here it's one out of two is running. So one is failed, one is running. So this is what it means like when it says ready. So you have to be very clear about what does that message means, like number of running containers out of total number of containers. So that what it says like when you have this ready column. So if you're somebody asks you like when the in the ready you have this status, what does that mean? So you should know what is happening on the pod level and the container level. I hope it's clear, and let's go to the next one. Now the point is like we want to delete the new web app pod. So how you delete it? So you have this new web app. So if you want to delete it, you use the kubectl delete pod new web app. So I will go and use kubectl delete pod and give the name of the pod. So it should delete it. Okay, so it's get deleted. So let me clear, and if I go back kubectl get pods, you should see only one pod now, which is nginx. The other one is deleted. So it's pretty simple. Delete the pod, just delete the pod and the pod name. So that's how you delete the pod. Now let's see like how you can create a pod with the name of Redis, and the image is Redis X, and it should be done as like a YAML file, okay? Not just like how we did it for nginx. I would like you to do it in the format of like a manifest file. So how you can do that? So the simplest way is like you can write your manifest file in a normal way, like opening a VI editor and do it, or you can do it like you can use this command and you can export into a YAML format. So if you run like kubectl run redis and the image name, use the output into YAML file. So in this format, you can easily run this uh, you know, your pod into a manifest file. You can convert that into a manifest file. So this will be the command kubectl run redis, and the image is redis x. And don't worry, I know this is a wrong image and this is going to fail if you run so I have converted that, and you can see you should have this file like Redis definition YAML file. If I go and check the file, you can see this how it says like API version v1, and the kind is a pod, and you have a metadata and the labels to run the name of the pod, which is the label Redis, and you have the container called Redis X, and the name as Redis. Okay, so it's just a simple way like you run this one and convert into a YAML file. Other option is you just use your VI editor and you can write your own files like this, like you have API versions, and you have you can use the metadata and you can give the specs for it. Okay, So, to answer this, once you convert that into a YAML, then you have to apply, So you have to create the pod using the YAML file, right? You can use create -f, or you can use kubectl apply -f and the YAML file. So you should have this kubectl apply -f or this YAML. So you can see it has created the pod and kubectl get pods. Now you can see it's creating the container. So because we just run it, so I think in few minutes it should create. And you can see it has given an image pool because you have one container inside the pod and one failed, right? So as I mentioned, I know it's a wrong image, so it will fail. So now we created the container with the name Redis and the image in the Redis X using the YAML format. And now I want to change the image to the pod to Redis. Okay. So now I want to fix the error message because I know like it is failed because of the image pool error, right? If I go back to kubectl describe and pod Redis, you can see it has failed because of the image pullback and the same message which we show like repository does not exist, right? Now I want to edit the pod to use the right image. So what you do is you have two options. You can go to kubectl edit pod and you can use the pod name and you can change, or you can edit the YAML file and you can change it to the Redis image. So let's do it through the edit of the pod. So kubectl, let me find the pod first. Then I go kubectl edit pod and Redis, and I come here. I go and change the image to Redis. I think you have also here the image. Okay, I just save this. Now if I go to kubectl get pods, let's wait for some time. You can see the Redis image is running now, right? Because it's already pulled the new image. You can find this one out, kubectl get pod, sorry, kubectl describe pod Redis. You can see now it has pulled the new image Redis. So this is one way you can change the image. The other one is like you can edit the YAML file for the Redis manifest, and you just come here and you change this to Redis file, and then you apply it again, so it will be also doing the same. So it's just the same, but I just wanted to show you the both ways how you can do it. So you can edit the YAML file and you apply it again, or you just edit the pod directly. So this is a way how you can change the image of the pod to Redis from RedisX. It can be any other image as well which you want to change. Now let me ask you a question. Like now we have seen about the pods. Now I want you to see how many replica sets are there in this system. So in your system, if you want to find how many replica sets, just run the command like kubectl get replica set or kubectl get rs. So let's run kubectl get replica set, or it can be kubectl get rs. Both should give the same message. So you don't have any replica set on the default namespace. So both commands should give you the output, the replica set or kubectl rs. Now what I want to do is I will be applying something on the backend to create a replica set. Then let's see the same thing, like how many replica set are running. So as I mentioned, I just applied some settings on the backends to create a replica set, and now you can see there is a new replica set, right? So the next question for you is like in your scenario, like if you have a replica set running, how many pods are in the desired in the new replica set? So you can see, how many pods are in the desired. So there are different categories. Like when you create a replica set, you will have desired and current, right? So there is a four number of four desired state, and what is the current state is four as well. And how you get this? It's just simple. Again, you get kubectl replica set or kubectl and count the number of desired columns. So you have four, and now what I want to ask you is what is the image used to create the pods in the new replica set? So now we want to find what is the image used to create the pods in the new replica set. How you can do that? Because in a replica set there are four state, and what that does it means like there are four pods running right from the replica, because you can see new replica set with some ID, right? So there are four pods running from this new replica set. And how do you find the image? The same way, you can go to the pod and you can find out, or you can run the command like kubectl describe replica set. So what you do is kubectl describe replica set, and the name of replica set is new replica set. So if you describe this replica set, you will get the information like what kind of image you're running, because you can see you are running an image nginx, and we are using the label like nginx. So there is only one container inside one pod. That's why it's have only one image. If you have multiple images, you will see more images as well. So just use this command like kubectl describe replica set, and you find the new replica set, or you can even go to the pod and you can find out for the pod as well. So let's move on. So now you know like how to find the image used for a replica set. Now I want to see like how many pods are there in the replica set, right? So it's straightforward. You have four desired states, so you have four pods, which I showed you. Like you can just kubectl get pods, and you will have it, the replica sets with the ID. So it's pretty simple. You just use the kubectl get pods, and you will know how many replicas, how many pods are running, and this is based on your desired state. Now let's delete one of the pod. So let me clear this out. Kubectl get pods. Now let me delete one of the pod from the replica set. So kubectl delete pod, which we already seen the previous state. Now if I delete one pod, you can see it's deleted. And if I run kubectl get pods again, you can see we still see four pods, and there is one creating containing container creating, right? Why is that? Because after deleting the pod, because we run the command to delete the pod, the next question is how many pods are there for now? And it's still the four, right? Because we can see there are still four pods. So if I go and check it now, it's running as well. So we deleted the pod, but we see that still there are four pod. Why is that? This is because we have the command kubectl get pods, and you're checking out why there are still four pods even after you delete it. This is because the replica sets ensure to have the desired number of pods all the time. So the replica set as itself is doing it like if even if you delete any pods, or because of any failure some pod has to be killed, it will automatically spin up a new pod, and to make sure that your systems are having enough number of pods to take the loads. So this is where our in Kubernetes, if you define the desired state, even some issue happens, some pods are killed or something happens, the system automatically create the new pods to take up the load. So this is what is called the replica set. Now how you delete the replica set? Now to delete, you just use kubectl delete rs, and you just give the name as the name of the replica set, which is the new replica set. So you can see it has deleted the new replica set. So if I go to kubectl get rs, you don't see any one, and if I get pods, you can see there are no replica set pod as well. There is only the one which is nginx and redis, which we used in the previous state. Let me delete these pods as well. Kubectl delete the pod, delete pod nginx and redis. I have deleted them as well. So kubectl get pods. We don't have any pods at all now. So we are done with this practical hands-on and the practice. So I will share this whole list with you guys so you can find out to proceed with these kind of scenarios, like step-by-step process. So you will have you set up a system, then you try to find how many pods you have to run this command, then you create new pods and all the kind of things. So I don't have a lab instance where I can share it to you because I don't have a public lab information. But this kind of way of doing for you, like a step by step asking a question, like different scenario wise systems, you will be pulled into a stage where you will be able to think from that perspective, and you should be able to analyze, prepare something when the actual certification for Kubernetes happens. So this will help you, and this also will help you to learn the complete basics and know how the Kubernetes works, and for your practical hands-on. So I'm sure this was helpful for you, and look into my Kubernetes playlist where you'll have the complete information. So I will share that also into the video's description. So thank you for watching, and I hope this tutorial was informative for you. I'll be continuing the next tutorial with more hands-on. So have a great day.